We won this wreck 2016 Kia Sorento from Copart Auto Auction for just $2,900. And we turned it into this clean, dependable ride that is now worth $14,000. Want to know how we did it? Stay locked in. We'll show you how. All right, so we got a vehicle we're going to be bidding on. It's a 2016 Kia Sorento. It's in North Carolina. And it's a clean title. It's got 85K on the dash. The vehicle's coming up in just about 2 minutes according to the auction. So we got the vehicle's valued at around roughly 14K, and we've got a budget of $45,000 or $4,000 budget. We're gonna see if we can win this vehicle. So let's see how it goes. Vehicle's up next. Right now, it's a 2019 Pathfinder. I thought it was mine because it's the same color, but it's not. It's the very next one coming up right here. So let's see how this goes. We kind of got a rough estimate on what it's gonna cost as far as parts. We found a vehicle that's very similar at a local junkyard, so we're hoping we can save a lot of money on parts. And so the vehicle's up right now for bidding. Right now it's at $2,750. I'm gonna put in a bid here. It's in increments of $50 right now. I'm currently winning at $2,800. They knocked me out the bid at $29. I'm gonna put in another bid here. $29.50, I'm winning. Let's see how this goes. So it'll be really awesome if we can be completely lower than our budget. Whoa, it's at $29.50 and I'm winning. That's excellent. I didn't expect that. So let's see how this goes. Against Libya, won on approval. So what that means is it's not a pure sale. This vehicle is listed as on approval. This is one of the situations where it's like I've got a budget of $4,000, wanted at 29. So I've got room to play. So I may counter offer just maybe a couple of bucks. It's usually about $25 increments minimum, maybe $50 increments depending on what the stop and bid number is at. So I may throw a counter offer. I usually don't, but I may do it because I'm trying to get this vehicle. So stay tuned on that, and we'll follow up and see what happens with the counter offer. All right, so we end up winning that vehicle for a bid of $2,900, as you can see right here. So we're at a local junkyard because we found the same identical vehicle with the same matching paint. And we actually did this research before we actually bid on the vehicle. So we're gonna pull those parts now. We got the driver's side fender, got that off. We're pulling off the driver's side door. Not too bad, got that off as well. Now we're pulling off the passenger fender. And now we got the passenger front door. So the vehicle just got delivered. We use Copart's third-party transportation services on this one. Vehicle can take a while to get delivered, but sometimes it's the most affordable. All right, guys, so it's inspection time. We're gonna do a full inspection on this vehicle. Under hood, undercarriage, front end, inside, outside. We're gonna take notes of all the services and repairs that are needed to get this car ready for sale. All right, let's get into it. So we're gonna start off by inspecting underneath the hood. The air filter is not too bad. We're gonna check the oil level as well as the condition. Now we're gonna take a look at the body damage. All right, just wanted to show you guys how sometimes you get these vehicles from the auction and they'll put inside these vehicles salvageable parts, right? A lot of parts that can be reused. You can see the fender here as well. You got the headlights. I didn't get a chance to inspect those to see what's going on with those headlights, but I'm gonna check those out in a minute. But there's a lot of parts, a lot of trims, pieces in the vehicle. Sometimes you can actually reuse these parts instead of getting new or used parts, right? So you don't always get this lucky. I have been disappointed many a times in the past, but this time got kind of lucky where a lot of the parts were put inside the vehicle. So that's a plus. We're gonna inspect the undercarriage and further inspect the body damage. Right now the battery is dead, possibly because this thing has been sitting at the auction for like months. I'm gonna have to charge that up to see if it's actually still a good battery or not. But with the jump box on it, it starts right up. All right, You see we got no warning lights at the dash. I just wanted to show you, pretty cool, clean inside car. This car was well kept. Whoever owned this car prior did a pretty good job on keeping the car clean. The car only has, what, 85K. It's not too bad for 2016. This is a 7-seater, second row, third row, right back there. So it's a pretty spacious vehicle. Right, guys, just to go over our findings on the inspection. So pretty much what's going on with this car is pretty much what we can see from the body damage, from the pictures, from Copart, the front end damage and issues. There's nothing really else going on with this car that's surprising. So that is a blessing. That is definitely a plus. So we got some pretty low tires in the front, 330 seconds, 430 seconds. In the back, 630 seconds. Front brake pads are 7766. Those are in millimeters. So they're fairly 60% life remaining. Couple of circle issues here, like the tail light that's cracked, and wiper blades kind of in question. They're not wiping that well. They're wiping okay. So we probably replace that. The tail light from the body shop. Another thing is, when I'm getting cars on Copart, I do love to see that markings such as this, like the color-coded markings on the vehicles, usually indicates that this car was at a body shop. And if the car was at a body shop with these color markings, that usually what indicates to me that it's a legit hit. It's a legit accident, legit damage. Because I can't tell you how many times I've been skeptical when I see cars at the auction where you have just like a nice dent in here that looks like someone came in with the knee, right? And that's not convincing damage to me. So sometimes you can have a car that has a blown motor that costs over $3,000, and the customer kind of wants to get out of the car, or even possibly a dealer wants to get out of a car. Call it side damage, put it at the auction, and then you bid on it thinking you got a nice car that just needs a door, but now it needs a transmission or a motor. And that's what I call convincing damage. I like to get cars that have convincing, this is convincing damage. You know, you can't fake this hit necessarily. I mean, yes, you can go hit a tree, but on top of that, you got these markings where you know it was at the body shop, right? So body shop usually would put markings like this and notes like this. I like to get cars like this because that tells me that this car was at the auction because of the damage and not an unknown issue like the motor or the transmissions. Pretty much panel replacements. That's what I look for. Doors, fenders, lights, hoods, bumpers, things like that. That's what I look for. Things that you can easily take off, replace, put on, get this car cleaned up, and get it sold. We're gonna price this out and get this replaced most likely. This is a little chip. It doesn't look like it necessarily went past the seal. We're gonna price it out. If the price is reasonable, we'll go with it. If not, I may have another repair in mind to get past that. Little nick right here, we're gonna try to just maybe buff that out. Some markings right here, some chip paint. We'll use some touch-up paint on spots like that to take care of that. A nice outline right here of some scuffs that the vehicle has from side damage, but nothing that really went past the base coat paint. So we'll see if we can get away with buffing this out. If buffing it out doesn't work, we'll probably use a little bit of touch-up paint on some of these spots, where we're not gonna go crazy on repairing that. Of course, we're replacing the door, the passenger fender, the bumper, pretty scuffed up on the ends. This definitely for me is repairable, so we're gonna try to repair that. And then here, it's a little bit of a challenge, right? They got some nice scuffs and deep scratches in here, but nothing we can't get past using some body filler, especially some bumper, flexible body filler. And we're gonna definitely try to see if we can save this. So I've already got parts. I'll show you the parts that we got from the junkyard we found. The same exact color door fenders at a local salvage yard, pull parts in Knoxville. We found 2 doors in immaculate condition, right? And we also got 2 fenders, right? Same color, matching. So you can't beat that. Getting the same colors, you don't have to worry about getting the parts painted. I like to move fast on my parts. Even before I got the vehicle, I got the parts. So once I seen that the vehicle had these parts available at the junkyard, even before I got the vehicle, I ran there, I got the parts. Because why? If I wait to get the vehicle, which I got the vehicle about a week and a half later after I got the parts, if I wait to get this vehicle and then go get the parts, those parts may not be available. So, I had somebody in my comments one day, he's like, well, you went to the junkyard twice. Yeah, I'll go to the junkyard for another part if I need to. But once I see these parts at the junkyard, if I know I need them, go grab them. because they could be there today and be gone tomorrow, right? So don't waste time on getting parts. As soon as you see them available, go grab them. A lot of times you go to the junkyard and cars like this, bare bones. You just see nothing but frame and a little bit of carpentry and panels in there. Barely panels. Panels are all over the place, right? So I don't like to waste time on getting parts. I like to move on getting parts as soon as possible, especially if I'm ordering parts online. You got like a 2-3 day, shipping window. So I order parts as soon as possible so that, you can get on the cars as soon as possible. Now the inspection is done. We're gonna be getting into the repairs of this vehicle. So stay tuned as we get into that and knock that out. All right, so we're gonna remove and replace some of these damaged parts, starting with the driver's side fender and the driver's side door. Got the 2 doors replaced. Got the fender replaced. Other side, door and fender. All right, at this time, we're trying to see if we can save and repair the front bumper cover. This is what the damage looks like on the back side of the front bumper cover. All right now we're doing a little bit of wet sanding where we filled in with the spot putty. All right, guys, so I neglected to mention that there is noticeable damage on the passenger side of the hood, which we're definitely going to try to repair to see if we can keep the budget and expense down low. All right, so this is how the front bumper cover repair project came out. Not too bad on that passenger side. I'm pretty happy with that. But honestly, I'm not too crazy about how it came out on the other side, which is the driver's side. You could definitely see some imperfections, some wrinkles in the paint, behind the paint. So we ended up scrapping that repair bumper and we got a brand new bumper that we ordered from online and we painted it as well. Time to install that new bumper cover. Looking pretty good. We're gonna finish painting this hood. All right, guys, so I'm gonna try something new I never tried before. Instead of replacing this whole taillight assembly, which I haven't priced out, but I wanna believe is gonna cost at least $100 or so. So they make a lens repair tape for this. And because it seems to be still sealed and the seal is not broken, so I even washed this vehicle today. There was no water that got inside the lens housing, the tail light assembly, so I believe it's sealed. So I'm just gonna try to get away with taping it up with the repair tape. So this is the lens repair kit made by 3M. Comes with 1 strip, 1 piece. You can see color-wise, it looks pretty spot on. A piece only this big. I don't know if this is the right thing to do. Should I be cutting it bigger or should I be cutting it smaller? I really don't know. Just trying something out. All right, from far, doesn't look too bad. I have an idea of a way to make it probably look a little bit better. For now, this is definitely gonna rock out. Nice repair kit, can't complain. Ideally, I think this is made more for something that has kind of like a crack or a split, not for a chunk that's missing like mine's, but nevertheless, gonna try to get away with what's going on here. Like I said, because it's sealed up, I'm not worried about it. If it was cracked and not sealed, then I would be trying to definitely replace this whole thing because I don't want this to fill up with water and cause, the light to go out. Because it's sealed, I'm definitely trying to see if I can get away with saving $100+ on this light. And that's $100 maybe if I go like the online route. Through the dealership, I'm pretty sure it cost me like maybe closer to $300. All right, so let's see if this works out. All right, this is a little trick that I use when I'm putting on the hood by myself, which is usually the case. It's cleanup time. Got to get this car looking right. A lot of trash in here. A lot of parts that I didn't actually need. Just going to have to toss those. For the most part, I can say that this car really wasn't that dirty. I've definitely seen a lot worse. It definitely helps out a lot when you have a really dark interior. And you don't have a lot of stains in the vehicle, that are showing from the light interior. I'm going to use that purple power and water mixture to wipe down the interior. We're now at the car wash. I am using that purple power to also clean the wheels. I usually would wash these vehicles at least 2 times because these vehicles usually do come very dusty and very dirty after sitting at the Copart yards for months on end. Back at the shop, got a delivery for 4 new tires. Got a pretty good deal. Paid a little under $500 for these tires. But surprisingly, I didn't even hear the delivery guy knock the door. but I'm glad I walked outside before these tires were taken. All right, so this vehicle cleaned up pretty well. Let's look at the estimated value of this vehicle, keeping in mind this vehicle is a clean title. Copart is valuing this vehicle at $14.1K at 85,000 miles. CarMax is valuing this vehicle at $14.5K, 95,000 miles. And Carvana is valuing this vehicle at $15.9K with 90,000 miles. And they're all LX model trims. All right, so on the right-hand side of the screen, I pulled up an expense sheet that we're going to quickly run through. The Copart winning bid amount was $2,900. The Copart fees was $528. We paid $615 for the vehicle shipping fee. We paid $312 for a headlight assembly set. We paid $343 for 2 doors and 2 fenders. We paid $95 for clear coat cans. We paid $59 for oil change. We paid $18 for brackets and clips. We paid $58 for a primer, seal, and paint. We paid $143 for a new front bumper cover. We paid $27 for front bumper cover brackets. We paid $19 for lens tape and a washer bottom motor. And we paid $480 for 4 new tires. So with a total expense of $5,612 and an estimated private sale value of $14,000, that leaves us with an expected return of $8,388. And if you're interested in labor hours, I have at the very bottom of the sheet, $750 charge for labor hours with 7.5 hours in labor at $100 labor rate. So we ended up posting this vehicle on Facebook Market for $14,000, and this vehicle did not stay long on the market. I got a surprise text from my sister who saw the vehicle online and said that she loved the vehicle and she wanted it. I offered her the ultimate family discount. She transferred the money and the vehicle was sold. After all, that's the least I could do for a U.S. Army veteran. Thank you for your services. All right, guys, so that wraps up our flip process on this 2016 Kia Sorento. Don't forget to like, share, and comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this in the future, and we will catch you on the flip side.